Hi, I'm Keith Bashirs. I learned a concept called tactical patience as a young Army aviator at Fort Campbell, Kentucky in the mid 1990s. And this is relevant to business because most of us are making business decisions based off of what we think is happening, and we just haven't done enough repetitions to achieve the effect yet. So we're actually doing the right things, but we're stopping too early before the actual results are achieved. So, what is tactical patience? Tactical patience is the idea that things take time to develop. Situations need the opportunity to grow to be what they should be doing. If our inputs are wrong, then we need to stop and we need to start doing the right inputs. But assuming that our inputs are correct, the question is how many repetitions are needed to actually achieve the effect we need. So I'll make a really simple, ridiculous example. Even if Coke has the most perfect soda pop, they're not going to make any money if they sell one 12 pack a month. There's many of iterations of sales that they have to make in order to make enough sales to make money. So here's how I learned the concept of tactical patience. I was in a troop doing air reconnaissance as a brand new aviator, and then was promoted to a staff role in the squadron headquarters. And in the squadron headquarters, my role was to track what was happening with the line units who were out doing reconnaissance, and then report that back to the division headquarters, the two-star general. And shortly after I got that role, we were in a training exercise where we were based in an assembly area north of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and we were flying missions back onto the military reservation. So when my unit would launch out of my assembly area, I could talk to them on the radio. I could hear them as they were traveling to the training area. But once they got down at terrain flight level and they're maneuvering through the woods trying to find the simulated enemy, I couldn't hear their radio transmissions. They would have to come up to altitude to send me an update. Just after they launched, my boss, who had just come back to the line unit after having been in a foreign exchange training opportunity with Brazil for several years, took off, and he positioned himself halfway between where we were and the training area in a high orbit so that he could talk to both of us. So he was getting reports from them and relaying those reports to me, and then I was consolidating the reports. And I kept hearing him call status report. And it would be less than 5 minutes later, he'd call status report. And less than 5 minutes later, he'd call status report. And I turned to my team and I said, why is he calling them so often? Why is he bothering them? If they have something important to report, they will report it. And this went on for a while. And then it was surprising that he just stopped talking. And that was wasn't like he started giving longer pauses before he actually asked for a report. And about 40 minutes or an hour later, he comes flying back into the assembly area and lands. And at the end of their missions, they came to debrief me so that I would consolidate the reports. And my boss and the instructor pilot, who's recertifying him to be a line aviator, walk into the assembly area, into the command post, and we can actually hear the troop is coming back to land themselves from doing the main part of the mission, and they'll be coming up to the command post later, like 10 or 15 minutes. It takes however long it takes them to get shut down. And he and the instructor pilot come in, and he has this pressed ring of compression around his face where the protective mask, the gas mask, had sealed against his face. What had happened was the instructor pilot had told him the same thing that I was asking my team who had more experience at that level than I did. Isn't he? I'd ask, isn't he asking them for too many reports? My instructor pilot, the instructor pilot, had said, "Sir, you're bothering them. You're asking them too much. You're asking them too often." He didn't get the hint. He didn't learn the lesson, and therefore the instructor pilot had said, "Sir, gas, gas, gas." And put the gas mask on. You have the controls. And he made my boss fly the aircraft instead of commanding and controlling the operation, because he was doing too much control and not enough command. Command and control exist on a spectrum. Command is the concept of giving someone a mission to accomplish and the resources to do so and letting them go do it. Control is telling them how to do it. Sometimes control is appropriate, but very often we lean too far towards control. In the business world, we call it micromanaging, where what in the military we call mission type orders. Command is give them all the resources, give them the assets, tell them what you want to accomplish, and let them surprise you by their ingenuity on how they will accomplish it. So tactical patience is the concept that if you have the right resources allocated to your business objective, just keep doing that thing long enough to let it have the effect that it's supposed to have. I'm Keith Bashirs. I'm the Bald Guy. I help small businesses with marketing theory, tactics, techniques, training, and technology.